Hello students, welcome to the video on Hibernate Architecture. This is Rupali Bangali from ICMR MCA. Now, uh, we just now discussed about the Hibernate object states where your object will be traveling through multiple stages throughout the life. So, based on the same, your Hibernate architecture is best. Now we discussed what is Hibernate. It's simply ORM tool. Object is being mapped relationally with your database. So just observe what is happening. Here, Hibernate architecture, when your object which is being created, let me click here. So when your object is being created within the application, it is just created. It is in inbound state. So which state it is? Transient one. But when this object within the application gets loaded with the data, so with the data, when your object is being loaded with the data during the session time, when your object gets loaded with the data, then this object will become the persistent one. And now one session one object, so similarly there could be multiple sessions, so this session factory will be there. Depending upon that factory, you will be taking one session and one object per session. So from your session factory, you will be performing transaction. For every session you will have multiple transactions, so that's why transaction factory will be there. And of course the connection provider, when you want to get connected with the database, you have to have the connection provider. So that's why the transaction factory connection provider, then your session factory is there, because you have to have these multiple sessions. Now when your application is dealing with the database through your Hibernate tool, you might be having to connect to the database. You might have this Java naming directory interfaces, or you may have normal the Java database connectivity, or you may have the Java transaction APIs. So depending upon anything, you can still use this ORM tool. Okay, so let's revise this thing. When the object is being created within the application, it will be in transient state. Once that object is being loaded with the data during this session, it will be converted to the persistent state. Now your data is being loaded with the with your object is being loaded with the data in session, so multiple sessions could be there. That's why the session factory will help you out. Now per session you may perform multiple transactions onto the database, so you might have a transaction factory where multiple transactions are being carried out. And here of course you are carrying out this transaction over these databases. Okay, so in order to get connected with the database, you will require the connection provider. Now dealing with the database through your Hibernate tool, you may use anything. You may use your Java naming directory interfaces, you may use your normal JDBC connectivity, or you may use your Java transaction APIs. So this is what your Hibernate architecture is. Okay, so thank you. That is what your plain Hibernate architecture.